Our next speaker is the senior spokeswoman for the UN World Food Programme, Abeer Etefa. It's an honour to have you with us here today. Welcome, Abeer.
Thank you so much, and it's an honor for me to be with you on the program again, and I hope it's a happy World Food Day. It's not a very happy day these days, but at least it's a good day to mark all what we have and what we're enjoying and what we need to accomplish.
Yeah, Abeer, our thoughts go out to all of those suffering around the world at this point. I know that your work at the World Food Programme is absolutely relentless, and I know that you've done a lot to be with us here today. So, Abeer, thank you for making time in your incredibly busy schedule.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, the first thing that I'd like to ask you is, for the benefit of those watching, could you tell us about the work of the United Nations World Food Programme and your role as the senior spokeswoman for the UN World Food Programme?
Okay, great. So let me start by speaking about the United Nations World Food Programme, WFP. It's a humanitarian organization that's working on the front lines, saving lives and hopefully changing lives as well, delivering food assistance in emergencies, working with communities to improve nutrition and to build the resilience even during the times of emergency. It's not just food handouts. It's food that's making a difference to the lives of people. So as the international community has committed to ending hunger by 2030, achieving food security, improved nutrition, that's the second SDG goal, the second Sustainable Development Goal, which basically, we're in a situation where 1 in 10 people worldwide still don't have enough to eat. So food and all the food-related assistance lie at the heart of the struggle to break the cycle of hunger and poverty. And that's where our work really is. So the World Food Programme last year has assisted 160 million people, which is a historic high around the world. On a given day, WFP has around 6,500 trucks, 20 ships, 140 aircraft on the move, delivering food and other assistance to those in most need. That's in emergencies, in very difficult to reach areas, whether it is because these emergencies are because of conflict or because of climate change. Emergency work is at the heart and core of what WFP does. But also we are working around the world to, again, build the resilience of people, whether they are smallholder farmers, children receiving school meals in very vulnerable and poor communities, or it is, by helping people get on their feet and, start their lives again after a conflict or after a climate disaster. So that's the work of the World Food Programme. For me, as the senior spokeswoman for the World Food Programme, I get to see my colleagues accomplish great work and to tell the stories that we need to tell to our audience, to raise the awareness and to also generate funds and to also give a voice to the people who most of the time do not really have their voices heard. So I think sometimes I feel I have the best part or the best job in the organization, which is that I see the crisis, I see how my colleagues respond, I see the organization coming together, and then I do get to tell the success stories and sometimes even the failure stories. But most of the time, we are on the front line, and it's such a wonderful thing to see and to connect with people in many parts of the world. Sometimes it's really sad, as we're seeing right now with the conflict that's unfolding in the Middle East. And sometimes these are good stories of people recovering from shocks and from, whether it's a flood or people returning home after a conflict. So that's basically my role.
Amazing, Abeer. And I've traveled with WFP in Sudan, in southern Sudan, where we flew in, and I actually happened to be in the back of the plane that dropped 90 tons, of food to those people who needed it. Your work is absolutely amazing and so inspiring. So could you tell me, Abeer, please, what does World Food Day mean to you?
Well, World Food Day, which is observed on the 16th of October every year, is for us a global event to raise awareness about the issues related to food and agriculture, as well as to promote the efforts to alleviate hunger and improve the food security around the world. So it's a reminder of what we have achieved and the risks that are coming ahead. And every year we have a different theme, which allows us to also be creative in what messages we want to get out. And also on a personal level, I think it's a moment to be grateful of what we have, to appreciate the things that we don't think about every day. Every day we do have food, we don't think about where the food is, where is our next meal is coming from, where there are millions of people around the world that basically they wake up every morning and they don't know where their next meal is coming from. And then on a final personal note, it's actually my daughter's birthday. So on every World Food Day, for the last maybe 16, 17 years, I've never had the chance to celebrate her birthday because I'm always busy with what we're doing and our work around World Food Day. So it's a day that will always be engraved in my heart and my mind and my soul.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we wish your daughter, Abeer, a very special happy birthday. So the next question I'd like to ask you is that World Food Programme won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2020. I mean, absolutely incredible. I remember it so well. I mean, amazing. Tell us about that. Tell us what was behind that.
Well, the World Food Programme received the Nobel Peace Prize in 2020 because of the relentless effort to combat hunger in contribution to improving the conditions of peace in conflict-affected areas by actually its dedication to prevent the use of hunger as a weapon. So the Nobel Committee has recognized WFP's critical role in addressing addressing this important element, which is the link between conflict and hunger. Most of the areas where there is conflict, there has been stress on the food system. There has been an element of hunger. And so hunger does lead to conflict. And in many places where conflict has erupted, we started to see hunger in these places for the first time. A country like Syria was self-sufficient. They were producing all what they needed in terms of food. And, fast forward 12 years later, Syria is struggling with food insecurity. 60% of the population is food insecure. So I think the Nobel Peace Prize serves to highlight the importance of addressing food insecurity as a means to promote peace and stability. And by awarding WFP the prize, I think the Nobel Committee has underscored this connection between food security, conflict resolution, and peace building efforts. And it was I remember still this day, it was a Friday morning, and we haven't been prepared or thought that we actually will receive the award. I got a text message from a journalist, a friend in Deutsche Welle television, who wrote to me, the word in English, like Mabruk, which is congratulations in Arabic. And I said, for what? And he said the Nobel Peace Prize. And that was a moment in which I was like running around, in tears and super happy that the work of the organization and my colleagues around the world has been recognized at the highest level. And it was really a moment of euphoria. There's still so much work that we need to do. So it's not like a moment to celebrate, but it was a moment where we felt our work is noticed and we are being recognized for this good work and for for my many colleagues who lost their lives in this fight against hunger. I felt that they were, honored that day.
Yeah, weren't they just? And they couldn't have been honoured in a better way for those who gave their lives to helping others, which so many UN staff, have done and are, respect to those that have fallen. In order for humanity to move forward in a constructive and positive way, what would you like to see? Well, what steps would you like to see taken by the global community around the fundamental issues that we face when we talk about food?
I think there are a lot of things that we need to consider and the different ways to look at the issues of food. First of all, we have to look at the root causes of hunger. Why is hunger an issue? It's conflict, it's climate change, and what steps can we do to, to address the issues of hunger and to also look at the future by investing in agriculture, by making sure that all communities have access to safe food, that by helping smallholder farmers, by helping communities grow their food, by reducing food waste, by making sure that we know that there are also strong links between food and water as the theme of this year. And then to, I think pay special attention to communities that have poor water resources and are unfortunate to grow their own food and be able to, invest in agriculture. And then also to look at the, I think the imbalance that we have between many places around the world. There are countries that are just net food importers who are very much vulnerable and subject to the risks that we face. And look at the war in Ukraine and how it hits some countries to the core because they are net food importers. So when we think about food, it's not just what we eat. It's life. How can we make sure that everyone has access to life? And how can we, improve the production of food, reduce food waste, make sure that, the resources that we're putting are not going to waste and to give everyone a chance to have a meal.
Thank you, Abeer. Thank you. Amazing. So, finally, how can the people watching this interview support the work of the World Food Programme, and where do they find out more information?
First of all, you can find more information on the website of the World Food Programme, wfp.org. Also follow our social media channels and our platforms, the World Food Programme, the World Food Programme MENA, which is for the Middle East and North Africa. We have LinkedIn, Instagram accounts, Facebook, Twitter. So just Google search the World Food Programme and you will always come across useful and good information. Most important also, this is a very difficult year for WFP, the World Food Programme, and for the millions of people that we serve around the world because of funding shortages. So donate, download, share the meal, and, share a meal with one of the most, poor children or men and women around the world. And then finally, I think it's important to also know, even if you cannot donate, just spread the awareness and just spread the word out and think about your own actions. Stop the waste. Look at your food waste. See how can you recycle, the food that's left in the fridge. Make sure that, you're helping your neighbors. Keep an eye on people around you in the community. So small action. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. It can be just like, $1, a dollar, when you can afford it, but also you can take action in your own home.
Thank you, Abeer. Thank you. So what an honor to hear your inspiring words. We wish you the very best on your journey. Good luck, Abeer. Keep doing the incredible work of the World Food Programme.
Thank you very much for having me, Jeremy.